This is Get Savvy, the podcast for people who want to claim back their time through the power of delegation, productivity, and automation. Welcome back to this episode. Today I have Briar with us again.
Hello.
Welcome back. Briar is going to be talking to us about some client automations that she's set up, following on from our last episode where we talked about some of our internal automations. So we wanted to share with you some real live automations that Briar has running for a range of her clients. So she is here to share those with us today. And hopefully you'll get some ideas of some automations that could be running in your business today.
Yeah. Cool.
So to get started, I know that you have a couple of not-for-profit clients.
Yes.
And you've got a couple of automations for one for each of them that you actually use AI in the automation.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought we'd start with the big bad boys.
I'm going to start off by talking about today uses, as we said, AI in the automation itself. So the first one is inbuilt with Claude, using Claude. So for this client, it handles their website inquiry, and what the automation overall goal is for it to do is it takes over this manual task that a VA has from the client. So a website inquiry comes in, and then you would, make that decision of what the inquiry is after, and then either send it on to who needs to action it or action it yourself. So that's what it covers. And what this automation now does, so takes over from it, it checks the inbox. Make will check the inbox every day. Once a day.
Yep.
Sends it to Claude, which acts like the brain for this automation. So it classifies whether the inquiry is spam or an actual legitimate inquiry. And then if it is spam, it will go ahead and delete it. And then if it is genuine, then it will assign it and move the email to the correct place in the inbox so that the VA can action accordingly. So the outcome of it is that the VA has now got a clear task list when they log on in the morning. They know what inquiries they have to do. There's no time wasted on spam emails and think that extra thought, and no information gets missed, because when the AI assigns the task to the VA, it summarizes the inquiry so that VA can action it. So the second automation is also for a non-profit client. It's to handle their website inquiries as well. So originally the person that would handle this task, what would happen is the website inquiry comes in via a form from their website. Then the person would decide what template to respond to the inquiry with, or perhaps flag it to someone else that would be better suited to respond to it. So I'll walk through the scenario that replaced that task. So Make first watches the inbox every day for website inquiries and that come through. This is slightly different to the first one I explained, because this watches it and instantly triggers when one comes through, whereas the previous one is scheduled for a certain time on every day.
Yeah, so it depends what your needs are.
Yes.
For the automation, you can change the trigger and the timing.
Yes. Yeah, and that's such an easy thing as well to change up. So then once that Make gets notified that an inquiry has come through, it sends it to the Make AI. So this, instead of using Claude, uses the inbuilt AI tool that Make has. And again, it acts as a classifier, which is similar to what Claude was doing for the previous automation. And it determines the type of inquiry. It pushes out what type of inquiry it is so that the correct templated draft response will be created, which then Make will draft that response and move the email to the correct folder label that it needs to be in. And that way, the person that handles that task can come in and see that it's all done, it's already been thought of, and then they just need to double check and press send. Just a quick note on that as well, that we set it up to be creating drafts at this stage, but that's just so that we have more eyes over it to make sure everything's working okay. But that, of course, could be changed to just sending immediately.
Yeah. Once you're happy with that. That was something I was just going to ask you. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Can I actually ask why you decided to use Claude for the first automation and makes inbuilt AI for the second one?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, one of them was built a lot earlier, probably quite a few months ago. Make has recently brought out
Anthropic
integration with their tools, so it makes it easier to use. And so I thought I'd give that one a go. We have found that Claude is currently better at problem solving, so that's why we thought we'd try that one moving forward.
Yeah. Okay, so you've talked about the drafting rather than straight sending.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you're doing for error handling with both of those?
Yeah, I think with all automations you need to have a fallback error process. So with putting AI into your automations, you want to set up the prompt that you set the AI up with to have a traffic light system kind of thing. So once Make feeds the AI the information, there will be 3 levels of classification that the output that the AI will give. So we have high confidence, which is green. So that would be that the AI is like 100%, yes, I know exactly what this is. I know exactly what I need to do. Super confident. Then they would have a medium confidence level, which, orange, yellow.
Yeah.
That would be perhaps so in the prompt, the rules that you've given the AI would think, okay, it meets some of those rules, but maybe there's one little thing in it that goes, oh no, I'm not sure about that. So it would kind of give it a unsure but pretty sure type vibe. Yeah. And then obviously the last one would be the low confidence red, when it's like, absolutely not, this means nothing that you've told me. I have no idea what that is, so I'm not going to do anything with it. So how I like to set up the AIs is that, is that personal preference, I suppose, but I also think it's got to do with the volume and amount of manual work you want to do. But for these ones in particular, I've set it up so if it's low or medium, I would like it to be assigned to the person that's going to do the task and check, so that, we just have more eyes on it, more confidence with it. But if it's green, go ahead and do it and do your thing. And then,
Awesome.
I think that's a good way to handle some of the errors, or if you're a bit nervous with the AI in it, or you're just a bit unsure, or maybe it's a bit more of a sensitive, needs to handle more sensitive information. I think that's a good way to do it.
And you can always update them later if you're finding it's not working. So.
Exactly. Yeah. But a whole overall, that how it works with AI and automations, I think there's a lot of different automations that you can build with AI in it. This is just one example, but you can use it on so many different levels. How you would use AI in your automations is you'd see it as that's the brain of the automation, whereas Make, or whatever platform that you're going to build your automations on, is the engine that does the things that it needs to do, but AI is the one that decides what.
Yeah, I feel like this is a really good way to do things as well, because I have played around a lot in Claude, and especially with the scheduled tasks in co-work, your computer needs to be on for those. I know that routines is a bit different, but I sometimes struggle to actually feel like I want Claude to do the task for me, because a lot of the time those scheduled tasks actually make more sense to be an automation but have an AI brain in them like this, because then they can run at any time, which is really helpful. But then you're still getting that AI problem solving, because I think that's something that's been lacking with automations for a while, is that it has to follow these straight rules, which it's probably better if you have rules, and even if you don't have rules, have a traffic light system like you've said.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to get that mix of both, which I think is really, really helpful to move it from humans to automation.
Yeah. Perfect for those tasks that, requires a bit more thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I know that you have a few more automations for both of those not-for-profits as well. Do you have some other more simple, straightforward automations that are kind of like your quick wins?
Yes, yeah. I have a whole bunch of quick wins, which I like to think of as housekeeping automations. So they're really good automations for the organized type of person. Maybe would go unnoticed by some, but would be appreciated by those type A type people. Now, so the first one I would classify as that kind of, type of automation would be a slight part of inbox management. So filing, labeling certain emails into certain folders, or perhaps assigning it to a person that needs it. So it's quite straightforward. So if you give the automation the rules, and when that email comes in, it gets filed to that folder. Now, I know this can be inbuilt within most email platforms. Especially the big major ones. So first off, you would do it like that. But there is some cases where you perhaps need some AI involved with that automation, where you cannot do it within the email platform. Although Google Workspace is coming out with some new features. But anyway, let's go back to my make automation. So how this one works is focusing on invoice filing into an invoice folder, which doesn't sound exciting, but it actually is, because the bookkeepers will know not all invoices come as a nice PDF. Sometimes some people send invoices within the body of the email, or some weirdo may have just put the amount that they want in the email and said, pay me please. We don't know. So what this will do is watches the email, sends it to the AI brain, similar to the automations we just talked about. It will again classify, is this an invoice or unsure? Again, traffic light system, and then applies the label, archives it, puts it in the folder, whatever email platform you're using. I found that very helpful. Yeah. And again, it just saves a little bit of time, may go unnoticed, but super, super helpful.
The best, well, not always the best, but a lot of the best automations are the simple ones that do go unnoticed. And you're probably sitting there saying, yeah, but that only takes me 2 minutes, and this is what we're trying to stop, because all of those little tasks build up, and who wants to be going through and like doing that as a task anyway? Yeah.
Exactly. No one does. So that one's like a perfect housekeeping one, and can be applied across other, not just invoicing, it can be applied across to like website inquiries, any kind of types of emails that you get constantly. So the other kind of quick win automations, I would say, would be potentially clearing your blank draft email. So I know there's a lot of people out there that accident or not, will make blank draft emails when you're on your phone, you're at the cafe. Oh, you saw you got an important email, I'm going to quickly reply, and then your coffee's ready, and then, you've forgotten it. So,
yeah, I do this all the time.
You're a culprit. Anyway, but most people, there's someone that's out there that has to clear them, and, no one wants to be that person. So this automation just, goes in there, clears the blank ones. And specifically as well, the automation doesn't clear draft emails if it actually has wording in there, because sometimes you do actually have an email in there on purpose. So it won't get rid of those, but that's how specific you can get with the automations. And we can build the same things across multiple
little different tweaks. You can make it do what you want it to do. And like Briar said, if you can do it within the platform, that's usually going to be best, unless there's something that you can't do that you really feel like will benefit in the situation, or if you're using some weirdo platform. You always want to look at the inbuilt features and what you can do within the platform itself before you have to, connect to external things. But what about, while we're talking about some of the more simple automations, I suppose, do you have any remindery type ones? We talked quite a lot about reminders. Internal automation one.
Yes, we do have quite a few reminder automations set up that I think would be good for if you're needing to send reminders out to your customers, or maybe your staff members, advising on, certain data that you keep track of, or maybe requesting data from that person that goes out on a set date. It just helps. These automations are more focused on if you've got like a multiple things that you need to keep track of that you can't just have as a calendar or a task notification, whatever system you may
Or
use.
if you don't have a task management system.
Yeah, then you might have an automation just to do it, so you don't even need to look at your calendar and go, oh, I need to do that. It's just something that regularly happens. This really helps me with managing my customers. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. What about some sales type automations? Because I know that you've got some sales related ones.
Yeah. So I have a client that sells a certain product. So their platform that they use is like their CRM is Pipedrive. So I've got 3 different automations set up for that, for their inquiries from their customers. So we have one from their website. So when someone emails or just emails their inbox, it will take that inquiry and pop it through to Pipedrive, as well as I've got it set up for Facebook leads. So if anyone on Facebook, inquires about their product, then it gets popped through to Pipedrive. And then the final one is a form that I've set up, which they use for expos and when they go out and about, or, it's just a form that they have to grab customer details in person. So again, it will pull it through and put it into Pipedrive. So the main focus of these automations is to get it into Pipedrive for them easily without them manually adding it in. But the cool thing is it takes all of the information. It will fill in the phone number, the email. It will apply different tags that it needs to be. So say this is from Facebook, this is from the website, yada, yada. This is very good for reporting later on down the track. And then it also will assign it to the correct staff member who needs to, go back to them with the quote. And we also have set up some further automations that you can go with, an immediate reply to let them know that they've received the inquiry, follow-up emails, tasks for the staff to make sure that they don't miss it and able to reply to that customer within a good time frame.
So those automations are made specifically within Pipedrive, not within Make, our automation platform?
No, these ones are made within Make itself, due to the fact that I believe Pipedrive does have some features that do allow those kinds of automations, but this client is planned subscription level with Pipedrive isn't on the higher one. So what we've done is integrated our third-party automation platform so that we can build those. So I believe Pipedrive has the feature to do the website inquiries, but not the Facebook leads.
Yeah, so it really depends on the CRM that you're using, what features you actually get access to if they have automations in the first place. And I know that even, things like MailChimp, when you have people sign up to your mailing list, that can trigger a series of welcome emails. And so it can be done for things like people signing up to your email database or being inputted. There are ways to do that, but it just feels like a lot cleaner of a way to do that and have it also, I guess, the flexibility that we have with Make is that we can change a bunch of different things. Like you can tag them as whatever, you can
add them to the subscription list, or you can assign it, you can add tasks. Really customize it to how you would suit your business.
Okay, what about bookkeeping? We haven't talked about bookkeeping yet. Have you got some
fun ones?
Fun bookkeeping. That's not my idea of fun, but
No, well, we've got a good few, mainly around reporting and sending aged payable reports out, which these are built usually in your financial platform. But with Make, we automate this, so it pulls the data out, puts it into a nice spreadsheet that we've custom made, and then we'll send out to where it needs to go without anyone touching it, which saves so much time.
So instead of it going, say, straight from zero, you've done it this way so that it looks nice as well.
Yes, it looks nice, and no one has to go in and actually go to the reports tab, click on the report, download it, then go back to your emails, attach it. Yeah, because again, no one wants to be doing that. No. And then we've also set up some other automations for those overdue debtors that don't want to pay you. They will send out emails and to follow up and, again, Xero or your financial platform will have a feature like that, but they look so robotic. It feels nice for the email to come from your actual personal email. You can tweak it how you like and send it, set up the automation to send when you like as well.
Because you can even do that in conjunction with the Xero automatic follow-up reminders. You can have it that your automation emails that look like they're coming from you are the next step, and it's like, the scary step of, the boss is stepping in now to email me. So
that's a good idea.
You can do it in conjunction with the existing ones, and depending on the platform you're using as well. Like if you're not using Xero, if you're using something else, you may not have that feature at all. So I know that we've got a few clients that literally don't have any debtor follow-up, and we are doing all of that manually for them. Well, not anymore. But so there are options if you're not using Xero.
Yes.
Although we recommend Xero.
So I've heard.
Cool. Okay, I think that's about all we have time for today. So do you have any parting bits of wisdom or finishing comments you want to give us?
I'm stoked that I was able to share some of our automations that we've built with you today. I really hope that some of them you could relate to and think that they would be good for your business. Just remember that automations can be changed quite easily. So if you found some of the aspects of it just may not work, we can easily change them. I am looking forward to a potential future episode with more automations that I can share with you.
Definitely, yeah. I think we'll definitely get you on for some more episodes. We were just talking before this about doing a bookkeeping specialized automation episode. So we might do some themed automation episodes coming up as well, because like Briar said, this is kind of just the surface of what we have so far, and there's going to be a lot more to come. So we will continue sharing those real examples with you so that you can get an idea for what is actually possible and what you could do in your business.
Yeah, so exciting.
So we'll see you back here for those episodes. If you want any help creating some automations for your business, then we would love to chat with you over at strictlysavvy.co.nz. You can book a call with Brenna. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the Get Savvy podcast.